Delta CX, available for CX and UX consulting, projects, and training. Contact us for a free consultation.
Hello, everybody. Do not adjust your set. I am wearing makeup. Please don't be alarmed. This is all for a good reason. I'm going to be doing a podcast in June, and they asked me for a very specific photo of me in a very specific pose. And so I had to make some sort of attempt here and try to cover up that constellation that I had. But hi, everybody. Good to see you. It's May 12th, 2020. I always have to look and check. I have no idea what day it is. But even before the pandemic, I had no idea what day it is. I always used to say every day is the same to the unemployed and to the self-employed. So especially the self-employed, that would be me. How's everybody doing? How are you guys holding up? And LinkedIn is finally telling people we're live. That's fresh and exciting. Please remember to subscribe to YouTube. You can use deltacx.tv as a little redirect here. This is office hours, Ask Me Anything, so I will be taking questions on anything. You can ask me questions that way, or let's switch my graphics up a bit, or you can use the anonymous URL deltacx.link, which is my URL shortener /AMA. That will just take you to a one question survey, and I will get it in my email. And that way you can ask a question anonymously if you want. If you're concerned about talking about a sensitive work topic or something more personal. And hello, Anna P. Good to see you back. I always recognize your hair. Debbie, I've become a great fan of yours. I loved yesterday's podcast and reached out to Darren this morning. Good, Anna. I'm glad you did. Darren's a great person to connect with and get to know. So I'm also going to fire up the new view of things, which has the chat kind of running alongside next to me, even though I accidentally cut off the top of it. So as questions come in, you'll see them. Which side am I pointing at here? I don't know what I'm doing. I've got this mirror image thing. I am looking at myself like, who is that person with mascara on? So, as always, you are welcome to ask absolutely any questions about CX, UX, careers, work situations, techniques, approaches, me. This is Office Hours Ask Me Anything, and I usually stay about an hour. It happens every Tuesday at 6:15 p.m. Italy time because I'm in Italy, so I go by Italy time. Please adjust your clocks accordingly. But usually I'm 6 hours ahead of East Coast America and 9 hours ahead of West Coast North America. And as for the rest of you, I don't want to list every time zone. That would be no fun at all. So let's get some questions. I do not have any questions from last time. All the questions got answered last time, as far as I know, and I did not get any anonymous questions in during the week. But please know that this URL works week round. So if you think of something during the week that you want to ask anonymously, just send it over here, deltacx.link/AMA. And of course, I will answer it when I do the office hours. So everything gets answered. So since we don't have anybody asking questions yet, I'll just give you guys a little heads up on what's coming in the podcast universe coming up soon. So please note that tomorrow will be the super exciting podcast with Vicky Vo. We're going to be doing why newmorphism is bad for accessibility and possibly bad for other reasons. So check it out. That's going to be a little bit more in the visual design world, but hey, that's part of our world and something we should be talking about. Then Monday, the 18th of May, I'll be doing a podcast on should UX practitioners learn to write code? Obviously, there's a lot of different opinions on that, and I'll give you mine, and you'll give me yours, and we'll see what happens. Of course, Tuesday, May 19th will be office hours, Ask Me Anything, as always. Remember, podcasts are all 6 p.m. Italy time, and office hours is 6:15. I may change these for June, but I haven't decided yet. I really want to to hear from you guys as to whether or not the times I tend to do these are good times or not. So please let me know your opinions on the timing of these things. And just to check, we've got one person watching in YouTube. I know it takes a little time to get fired up. I also know a lot of people go live at the top of the hour, so I'm always hoping by now they're winding down or you're getting bored of them. So, but let me know what time would be better than this for me to stream if there is a better time. So back to the calendar for more things coming up in May. Mark your calendars for Wednesday, May 20th. Our podcast will interview Leon Dries, who will be talking about great relationships with great recruiters. I know a lot of people are like, recruiters, are they worth our time? They're just taking our money. I love recruiters, and let's figure out who the good ones are and make relationships with them. Monday, the 25th, I know America is off for Memorial Day, but I am on. And we will have the always lovely Dr. Seth Finkel back, who's a psychologist, and he's going to talk about how to recognize and handle narcissists at your job. Whew! Chances are you've dealt with a narcissist and didn't even know it, so this is really an important one. Of course, Tuesday, May 26th will be office hours, and Wednesday, May 27th, I'm cooking up one. It's going to be about 10 traits that are important for any UX practitioner, and it sounds like for the second half of that, we might have Darren Hood drop by with some of his additional ideas on emotional intelligence. So, mark calendars for that. So, other than that, this is Office Hours Ask Me Anything, and I'm just waiting to get some questions. Again, I usually hang around about an hour, so if people have questions, I am happy to answer them. And, oh, Oz is on YouTube. It's me again. Hi, Oz. Always good to see you. I was getting ready to go to bed. Then the going live notification came up. Going to bed, because it's like 9:20 in the morning there. Yeah, I don't know. That could be early for you. Remember, Oz and everyone else, these are always archived. You don't have to join in live. I know it's fun and exciting to join in live, but if for some reason you can't join in live, remember these are always archived on the YouTube channel. Check out deltacx.tv, and there is a playlist called Office Hours/AMA. And in the playlist, you will find all of them in chronological order, newest first. So everything is always archived. If you guys miss something, it's going to be in the channel. So please do subscribe, because sometimes LinkedIn doesn't tell people I'm live, and sometimes the LinkedIn stream dies, and of course the LinkedIn stream is also sometimes very slow, which makes this less of a conversation. So Oz, maybe I can sing you to sleep. Any questions or thoughts? Oz has a new YouTube channel, guys. If you're not following his Excel on Fire, you want to follow that one. And he's got a new YouTube channel called, I think it's called Oz Tells Stories. OZ like the Wizard of Oz. Oz Tells Stories. Please excuse me, this is chloroseptic, albeit the British version. Which means it's not poison like the American version. I just find that with the spring allergies, my throat's just kind of burning. Is it just me? Are you guys still suffering with spring allergies? I usually get spring allergies a week, and I feel like this time I've had them a month. I am super puffy and dying. But at least the makeup hides that a little bit. But tomorrow, no makeup. I hate this stuff. I don't like to do drag unless I have to. This still is Office Hours Ask Me Anything, and I'm happy to talk about absolutely anything. If there's anything on your mind, Anna P., if you're still here, tell me how you're doing. Thanks to the people clapping, Arun, and we got claps from who else? I don't know this person. Let's see, let's click. LinkedIn's not letting me click. LinkedIn says you are Boblo Queen. Well, hello, Boblo Queen. Thanks for dropping by. But I think we've seen Arun before. So, office hours, ask me anything. I'm here for you guys. Anything on your mind, anything bugging you, any tragedies, any triumphs, anything good happening last week that you want to talk about. And of course, you can always give me an anonymous question or comment. Obviously, if you post to LinkedIn or YouTube, everybody sees your name. It's Sarah Price. Your picture didn't even come up, but I recognize. Okay, now your picture came up. I'm in slow motion here. Sarah Price, good to see you. How are you? I'm working on a personal UX project and I'm doing research right now. I'm having trouble doing interviews right now. People are just busy, I guess. Is it all right if I move on based on results of a survey I put out? Well, it's a great question, and it really depends on what you mean by is it all right? So, is it all right if you kind of skimp on research or skip research? I can't stop you, but if you're really looking to create, the question would be what's the personal project about? Is it something that you're looking to do to kind of fill out your portfolio? Are you doing it to kind of practice UX because you're newer to UX? So, if I can hear a little bit more about why you're doing this, I can tell you, but in general, the answer would probably be no. Because if I'm thinking about hiring you to, say, work at my company, and I'm wondering, I wonder if Sarah does research in a correct way and with good process and approach. And then I see that you kind of skipped research because you couldn't find people. Then I go, I don't think I want to interview Sarah. Sarah gives up too easily. Sarah needs resilience. Sarah needs persistence. Sarah needs a little bit of that bulldoggy nature. So I would say if you're having trouble finding people to do interviews, create some sort of screener. Maybe your survey is your screener. Portfolio Piece and Practice is for a community website. Yeah, I think if you really want to show off your chops, it doesn't make sense to have half a chop. So if you want to show off what you can do, I really suggest that even fake projects have your full heart put into them. So I would say don't interview two people. I want to see people, even for personal projects or portfolio pieces or sample projects, I wish people would interview 10 or more people so that you can really show here's how I synthesized data from multiple people. Here's how I found these people. Um, here's some of the key questions I asked them and some interesting learnings I got back. So I think it's important for you to go through with the research. If you're having trouble finding people, and if your survey is your screener, then let's get your survey out there more. If your survey is not your screener, maybe create a screener survey. If you haven't done that before, that's great practice too. You can say I was having trouble finding some participants. I created a screener survey. I put it out to LinkedIn. I put it out to Facebook. I tweeted it. So, Sarah, let's figure this out. If it's a community website, do I have to live in your community to be one of your interviews? So, because if it does, that's obviously that it's great that it's narrow and specific, but then you are going to be fishing from a small pond. So, tell us a little bit more because maybe we can help you find some more people. But I would, to me, if I'm trying to look at your portfolio project and assess how you do research and how well you do it, and do you do it with depth and quality, then I want to see that you took the time and you took the steps to do it right. I want to see your research planning. I want to see how you got the participants. I want to see some key things you asked them and how you executed it, your learnings, things like that. Do not skimp. So, sorry, bad news. Because a lot of UX research very often is not quantitative. There's other disciplines that love quantitative more than we do. Marketing tends to love quantitative. Even some anthropologists tend to prefer quantitative, or not necessarily prefer, but also love it. And UX usually says 27% of people said X. So what? What does that mean? We really should be interviewing them to find out more. So I think that a survey can be a nice thing for portfolio because I want to see what questions you asked and what learnings you took from it. Don't just screenshot all of your results. I want to know just a couple of give me the high level, couple of key questions you asked that you thought were going to be really enlightening from your survey, and then some of the learnings you got from it, just some bullet points. And then I can say, okay, she can write a survey that would give us some sort of actionable information because a lot of surveys do tend to be a bit junky, unfortunately. I keep looking at myself because I can't believe I have makeup on. Can you believe it? Sarah says, no, it's all online for writers to share their work and get feedback. I'm thinking of expanding the writer community on Twitter. Yeah, and again, if you have a screener question, and if you're not familiar with screeners, you can Google them. I'll give you the short version, but screener questions are where we try to include or exclude people from research based on whether or not they match our target audience. So if you want people who have written a fantasy novel, that's not me, but it's going to be other people. So you can have a screener that says, are you a writer? Yes, no. If somebody says no, survey's over. We don't want you. If they say yes, then maybe we ask them a follow-up question. That's why I love survey logic. That's why I pay for survey systems, because the free versions usually don't have the logic, and you end up showing people stupid questions like, if yes, this isn't a paper form anymore. So UX your survey. So you can say, oh, if you're a writer, which genres do you write? You know, fantasy, nonfiction, romance, business, other, whatever. And you're just looking for the people who check the box fantasy. And if they check the other boxes, but not fantasy, you can say, thank you, we're not interested in you at this time. Thanks for filling out the survey. You can just end the survey gracefully. And then if they say fantasy and anything else you need to know about them, then you could say, you can ask them a couple of questions for your survey if it helps you get somewhere. And then you can say, we're looking to do some interviews with people for a potential website or project. You know, would you be open to a half-hour interview, 45-minute interview, whatever? If yes, you know, please fill in your name and email address here, that kind of stuff. Normally in the UX world, when people do interviews, we do give them some sort of thank you, which is financial. So you're probably going to have to explain to people that because this is a personal project or passion project, that you are not giving them Amazon gift cards for the interview, and it's just grateful assistance. But I would still do it, and I would find people. I don't know how you were trying to find people before, but I would push it to LinkedIn, plenty of writers there, push it to Twitter, push it to Facebook, you know, wherever you can find people who fit your target audience, and we use the screener to kind of weed them out so that we don't ask a non-writer what they think about a writing website, or to answer questions about it. So, Sarah, let me know if you have more questions. This is Office Hours Ask Me Anything, so please ask me anything. I forgot what I'm drinking today. I watered it down. I think it's strawberry apple juice. It's in a little packet with artificial sweetener. Um, so thank you, Sarah. Good question. And one that I know a lot of people wonder, like, oh God, UX research, interviews. Ooh, I don't love interviews, and ooh, they're so hard, and ooh, they take time. Hey, that's the core of our whole project. If you don't get the research right, what are you building? And for whom? And did you go in the right direction? Or did you make stuff up? So I'm not mad at you. I sound mad. But that's the problem. So we want to make sure that we're learning good stuff so that our project, passion project or paid project, can go in the right directions with good knowledge. More questions. Who's got any other questions? Let's see. Nothing has come in the anonymous. If you have a question you would prefer to ask anonymously, like so I don't yell your name out, you can use this link here, deltacx.link, which is my URL shortener /AMA. It'll take you to a one-question survey because I don't need to know anything about you other than your question. Niku is here. Niku and I are now Instagram friends. Hi, Debbie. Hope you're doing well. Kind of off topic, but where does the name Delta CX come from? Hey, this is Ask Me Anything. I haven't found anything that's off topic yet. I've only found some things I'm just not qualified to answer. So Delta CX came when I was writing my book last year. I really wanted to come up with a short and catchy name. And I knew that I was mostly focusing on CX, the customer experience. So UX, digital interfaces, CX, all the things. And I knew that everything in my life and work had been centered around creating change and being a change agent, which is why some people love me and some people hate me, because I do show up and try to fix things and change things, and not everybody loves that. But when I thought about it, I thought, well, you know, what's the symbol for change? And the symbol for change is usually the Greek letter delta, which is usually represented kind of triangularly. So I figured, all right, that would be short and catchy, and that really encapsulates what I'm about and what my book's about, what my company's about. Pretty much everything I do is about creating change and the customer experience, whether those experiences are through digital products like websites and apps and systems, whether that's through services and service design, whether that's through physical products. I have people on my team who specialize in that, whether that's through anthropological studies. I've got new partners who focus on that, whether that's through what else could there be? Other types of experiences. So that is where Delta CX comes from. And I hope that answer makes you smile. Smiling optional. I just hope it makes you smile. And if it didn't, that's also okay. And we're still Instagram friends. You can follow me on Instagram, though I post extremely randomly at Delta_CX. I think I'm Delta_CX on both Instagram and Twitter. So you can find me there. Let's see. Yep, nothing too new in my world. Um, I did post some new videos on YouTube. If you're a subscriber, then you know. If you're not a subscriber, I recently did a 1 hour keynote for a marketing conference. And it's a little bit different than some of the things you've heard me say before because the audience was marketing, but it was like a marketing experience design conference through the American Marketing Association. So you can now find that in the YouTube channel. There's a playlist called Conference Sessions and Mini Workshops. You can find it there. It says Delta CX, and then it says parentheses 1 hour marketing version. And then there was a video that went with that, which was where I live answered questions that I didn't get the time to answer during that. This is Office Hours Ask Me Anything. So if you guys have any questions at all, I'm happy to take them. They will mostly show up here. Sorry about the I've got some layering issues here. I'm always playing with my TV system, TV software, and I've got to fix that layering issue. To put it on the to-do list. The to-do list. Niku says, it did, I guess, make you smile. It's definitely catchy. Mission accomplished. Thank you. I sure hope so. Let's see. So anything cooking in LinkedIn? We've got Sarah. Hello, Sarah. I'll do refresh just in case I'm missing something. But of course, this is Office Hours Ask Me Anything. And I usually stick around an hour, and it's only been 15 minutes. So we've got lots of time together. We can kill some time. I'm always curious how you guys are doing. Tell me about how you're doing, where you're doing. Niku, if I remember correctly, you're in Eastern Canada. Sarah, I don't know where you are, so I'm going to click on your profile. We will LinkedIn stalk Sarah today. Sarah's in MSP, Minneapolis, St. Paul. Okay, I have been there. Who else? That's all I can see right now. And then we've got some people on YouTube, but YouTube doesn't usually show me who you are. So hello to the 5 people watching on YouTube. I appreciate it. So tell me more about how you guys are doing and tell me what's on your mind and anything that happened last week that was good or bad that we could talk about. I'm glowing. I'll turn off my backlight and see if that helps. I think that's made me look very yellow and strange. I'll turn it back on. Yeah, I think that's more of a normal color. Niku says, yes, Toronto. Sarah says, Minneapolis. It's nice out today. Unlike winter in Minneapolis. Ouch, ouch. Toronto, good. Toronto, when's the last time I was there? No, I was in Montreal a couple of years ago, training the CBC on Acture. They were so awesome. In English. I don't speak French. And how are you guys doing? How are things where you are? I hope you're healthy and safe and doing well. We're healthy and safe and doing well, and just being thankful and grateful for that, and of course grateful to all the people who are doing their part by staying home and following the rules. Oh, I forgot to write down questions today. Let's go back and copy and paste questions so I can put them in the YouTube channel. And I've been singing some cheesy songs lately, so I have Flashdance on my mind. Can you guys ever forgive me? No. Probably not. Um, I'll try to not sing it, or I'll get taken down off YouTube. Okay, got today's questions in. Anna says, as I'm speaking and reaching out to seniors, I'm realizing that gap you guys mentioned yesterday between seniors like yourself and seniors of 4 to 5 years. I was hesitant calling them seniors, but alas, that's their title. And yeah, you could be a senior after 4 to 5 years if you're doing freaking awesomely. But I would say most seniors I've met usually got that title maybe fifth or sixth year. So four is not crazy. I could possibly give someone that title if I really thought they were leveling up quick and really showing amazing work and some of that strategy ability, like we talked about in yesterday's podcast. Everybody, yesterday's podcast, episode 39, conflicts between UX juniors and seniors, starring Darren Hood. So go find that in the live podcasts playlist in the YouTube channel. Um, Anna, there's a lot of gaps actually, and I'm worried about these, and I know some other people are as well, because as we don't have a lot of strong juniors coming in right now, the juniors that are strong are having trouble getting jobs, and the juniors that are weak are sometimes getting the jobs. And I want to see more of the strong juniors get the jobs because they're our future seniors. They're our future managers and leaders, and I want to see the best talent getting the job. Now, that doesn't mean you're the most educated. Everybody knows I have technically no UX education. I have a bachelor's in music and a certificate in sound engineering, so or audio engineering, I believe it was called. So I'm not on fire about how you get educated. Other though, if you want to see what I think of education, check the podcast called "So You Think You Want to Work in UX," May 2020. That was also recent. But there's definitely gaps, and at every company it's different. A lot of people are trying to start at the mid level, but that's tough because usually you need 2 or 3 years of experience to be mid level UX. And but then the snake eating its tail is, how do you get 2 years experience if there are no junior jobs, or juniors can't get jobs, or you're not getting jobs because you didn't get well educated and you can't show you can do the work? See episode 19, why hiring managers tend to not hire juniors straight out of boot camps. It's tough. I don't have a good. I was saying to my boyfriend this morning, this poor man who has to listen to me all the time, honey, I love you. He's waving. He says hello. So I was saying to this, talking this poor man's head off this morning, as I do every morning. Man, I love this guy. I was saying, I don't have a good solution here, and I really wish I did. I really wish I had a way to help juniors level up, to give them more one-on-one coaching, to review their work, to see the mistakes in their work and help them fix them, to help someone like Sarah with a portfolio project and go, oops, Sarah, you didn't write the best interview questions. Let's fix those before you interview people. I would love to be doing more of that, but what holds me back is I don't have that time. I have the intention, I have the desire, I have the ability, I have the capacity from the perspective of I could be that coach and mentor, but I can't make that time. And so I end up charging for that time, and then nobody's got any money, so nobody wants to pay for it, but they'll pay $14,000 to General Assembly to get a certificate that doesn't teach you anything important about UX. So I'm just lost. I don't know what to do, guys. What do you think? I really wish I could say, Sarah, you and I are going to work on that project together. I'm going to personally help you with this stuff and make sure you are really learning. What's that? 2 hours a week? It's really hard for me to say I'm going to give everybody 2 hours a week for free, because you really need one-on-one. I can't just say, hey, 100 of you get together in my Slack channel. I want to give you one-on-one help. Niku says, can AI be used in the future to help in the process of teaching UX to provide feedback to learners? Not sure you can teach empathy to AI. Niku, I'm going to have to disagree with you there. Not only is, I mean, people are bad at empathy. Forget about AI. People are bad at empathy. So I think we're a long way from that. And when I think about some of the things that I notice in people planning research, writing questions, undertaking that research, interpreting that research, doing their interaction design or information architecture. I don't see how you train a robot computer to look for those things. I think there are some jobs that I can see robot computers doing in the future, and there's some that I just don't see it. So I don't know how to scale this, guys. I can say, all right, I'll take on one person. I'll give you 2 hours a week. That's one person. I haven't fixed the profession. I haven't fixed the industry. I haven't helped all of you who ask me for help. I don't know how to scale this without going crazy, losing my voice, or going broke. So, what's your ideas? Uh, Sarah says, they're reopening stuff here, and we don't have a ton of cases in my county. That's excellent news. But people don't seem to take the virus seriously. So there's that. Would it make sense for companies to start doing apprenticeship style things to build in more mentorship programs? Also, I would love to pay for coaching when I get a job again. Wonderful, Sarah. Let's talk when you're ready. So obviously, as for your coronavirus stuff, yes, I'm also very lucky that in my region there are very few cases, but there's still cases, and so I could still get it at a moment's notice, and I'm quite aware of that. As for people not taking it seriously, I think this is where empathy comes in. So I find that when people have, let's talk about empathy, and I might say some unpopular things here. I find that when people have empathy, they're able to imagine someone else's world. I mean, empathy is all about feeling other people's feelings, or plan B, really seeing their world through their eyes without your bias. So if we have empathy for people suffering from the virus, then we go, oh, holy cats, this is a terrible virus that most people have for 5 to 8 weeks. Some people die or are near death. People have multiple systems of their body breaking down. Some people are reporting permanent damage. Holy cats, this is something we don't want, but more importantly, this is something I don't want to accidentally spread. And so if you have empathy, that tends to click in and you go, oh, yeah, no matter what, I couldn't live with myself if I spread this. People who are lower on empathy are less likely to have that perspective. So when people aren't taking the virus seriously, I don't know what would make them take it seriously other than them getting it, which I don't want, someone they love getting it, which I don't want, someone they know getting it, which I don't want. But unfortunately, this, I think, was it episode 3 where we did empathy? We actually covered this, though not in terms of a virus, because we did the podcast, I think, earlier than virus. But we talked about how sometimes people really don't have empathy and they don't think about these outcomes, and they don't take things seriously until it happens to them or someone they love. And of course, we don't want that to happen, but I think we will see more attitudes shifting when it happens to people or the people they love, care about, work with, coworker, friend, pastor, worshiper, whoever. So that's a little bit on virus. Sorry to go there. Um, Companies doing apprenticeships. I wish companies did apprenticeships, but I also, with empathy, understand them not doing apprenticeships, because the downside to apprenticeships is you're bringing in someone who you know isn't totally ready to do the job themselves. They're not really hitting the ground running. And you need to put someone in place who's going to kind of supervise them and mentor and coach them and kind of not micromanage, but watch what they're doing and cycle through what they do and give them feedback and then check it again and make sure they're leveling up. So not only do you need to have a worker who's not that efficient. So by definition, an apprentice is going to be some sort of inefficient worker because they're still learning and they're stumbling or they're guessing or they're lost or they're getting it right. But there's going to be those other things too. And then you have to take a senior or a higher level person, take some hours out of their week and say, yeah, we're paying you, but we're taking hours out of your week so you can coach this person. And again, people just see that as money out the door. And when you think about how long people stay in jobs, I mean, hands up, if you have stayed in a job a year or less, it's very hard for an employer to say, yeah, let's have that apprentice come in for 3 to 6 months, and pay them, invest in them, and then watch them go work for someone else. So I understand the reasons why companies don't rush to do this. I think apprenticeship would be a good model if there is that senior or higher in place who is dedicated to that apprentice and is really putting in hours per week to help them, not half an hour, not a half hour one-on-one each week. So, hold on, let me copy and paste this into the questions list since I've been putting that in the YouTube thingy there. So that's my opinion on apprenticeships. Great idea, but I just can't make kind of like the logistics of them work. I couldn't sell it. I'm not sure how I would sell it to a company like, you get to pay this person. They're only partially qualified to do the work. They might mess some stuff up, and they're going to need the time of one of your higher paid people to watch them. I've got some experimental ideas around that, and there's things I want to try out around that I think can make that work. But in this down market, I've avoided being public about those ideas because I think in this down market, we're just not going to sell anybody on anything right now, certainly not something experimental. So when the market changes, I hope to get some of my experimental apprenticeship ideas out there because they're a little different than the average thing. Anna P says juniors, listen to seniors like Debbie and Darren and others who are awesome and fall within that 5 to 6 years. If we listen to them, we can be more unified and possibly close that gap. Anna P, yes. And it's not just about listening to us. We have to listen to you too. You have questions, you have problems, but you also have ideas. And your ideas are great to listen to. Some of them will work, some of them won't work. But I always want to hear everybody's ideas, and you should be taken seriously. You guys know I am the non-fan of Jared Spool, and he came out with an article a couple of months ago saying, yeah, hire UX juniors, but make them production designers. And in my world, a production designer is an order taker. I do not want junior designers or junior UX practitioners to be order takers. You guys have a lot to learn, and that means doing the work. Doing the work, not being my assistant and taking my grunt work off my plate. So I want junior practitioners given real UX work, not being grunt workers to seniors. That's just me. Niku says maybe there can be a company that trains UX coaches to help junior UXs and help in that way. Niku, I'm cooking up some ideas, but again, in this down market, I just feel like now is not the time to go to a company and go, I have this experimental idea. I know you just laid off 300 people, but hear me out. So I have to be sensitive to businesses right now. Yes, I'm sensitive to juniors and people who are out of work, but I just get the feeling I can't sell this to companies right now. But I do have ideas, and I promise I will try them when the rainbow is out and the rain has stopped. Vicky, who will be our guest tomorrow, says maybe the solution could be boot camp stop hiring mentors who graduated from the same boot camp 6 weeks ago. Instead, hire mentors with real industry and work experience in the field. Vicky, the reality, I mean, you're not wrong. You are right. But the reality is that if we started trying to fix boot camps, where do we stop? We would have to fix the curriculum. We would have to fix how long the boot camp is. We would have to fix how they mentor. We would have to fix how much they're checking your work, since many people get no work checks, or they get work checks at the end of a project, or they get a work check from a visual designer or front end developer. I can't start to fix boot camps because they're too broken. So to me, they're going to implode, they're going to undo themselves, and we're going to have something bright and shiny and new in a year or so when the sun comes out again. Sarah Price says, Anna P., I love listening to seniors. I think that's one of the best way to learn outside of classes. How did any of us learn? You know, I didn't fake it until I made it. There were things that I was doing that tied into human behavior and psychology that I'd studied. And then once I started learning about who some of the masters were, those people were very influential, and you have to listen to them. And again, not every senior or leader is fantastic. Some of them are full of it. But hopefully, if you hear enough stuff, you'll be able to start figuring out the good from the bad. Niku asks, is there a company that partners with senior UXs that are interested in mentoring at their jobs and pays them for their time from the money the juniors pay the company? Whoa, that just got wacky real fast, Niku. So the juniors don't pay the company pays the juniors. I don't think the company can pay juniors less, saying you're being apprenticed or coached, so we're going to pay you less. I mean, could you take less pay? Who can take less pay? Everybody's on the edge. So, while there's things I like about your idea and you're getting a little closer to some of the things I'm playing with, we still ultimately the company has to pay for whatever this is, whether the company, whatever mentor or coach is going to oversee this junior, the company has to pay for it, which means it has to make sense either to a company's financials or it has to make sense to a company's mission. If their mission is something that is good, then they can say, look at this wonderful stuff we're doing with career transitioners and people new to this industry. Vicky says, another proposed solution. Maybe courses like Interaction Design Foundation stop giving out certificates after someone finishes one class. Maybe online classes and schools can design their certification courses better so people don't just press play for an hour or two and get certified. Vicky, you know I agree with you 25 million percent. I agree very strongly that so many certificates are meaningless and useless. You could say, hey, Deb, why aren't you piling on the certificates right now and getting certified in everything? And I say, because no job has ever turned me down and said, we turned you down, Debbie, because you didn't have IBM Certified Design Thinking Practitioner certificate. I don't think any of these certificates are keeping me from doing my job, and I don't think any of these certificates are adding anything. Now, that being said, Darren did say something useful about these things last night. He said, you can expect these short courses to give you some extra ideas, some extra tips, maybe a little bit of information about a technique you might not know about. Um, that's what we can expect from those courses. So it shouldn't be about the certificate or waving around the certificate, because let's face it, I don't care that you took 10 IDF courses, and neither does your boss. It's really about that portfolio and can you do the work. So if you take 40 Interaction Design Foundation courses and your portfolio tells me you can't do UX work, I don't care that you took those courses and got those certificates. So this is you, between you and you. Sarah Price, yes. This is from Anna. Anna says, Sarah Price, yes. And to gain that perspective, that will help our foundations. Debbie's right. We should listen to each other, but they have knowledge that will help us build the foundation to stand on. Yeah. Niku says, no, I mean a third party, not the company they work at. Yeah, who wants to pay for that? That's a nonprofit organization. Who is going to pay for Niku to be a paid apprentice at Company X? Or who's going to pay Niku to be a paid apprentice at Company X and pay Debbie to be her coach? That's why this is so hard to solve, guys. I'm so glad you're thinking this out with me, and you can see how hard it is to come up with, like, oh, this is the way we do this. It's really hard. There's no right answer. Guys, this is Office Hours Ask Me Anything. You can ask me anything. I asked the audience today to brainstorm some ideas on how we try to apprentice or help juniors, but all questions are welcome, even if they have nothing to do with this topic. Just jump on in with your question or ask one anonymously here. So let's see. No questions have come into my email, so we shall continue on talking about this topic. Niku says, yeah, makes sense. The company has to ultimately foot the bill. I think so. I can't figure out a way to get Company X to pay for you to be an apprentice to something else. I can't figure it out. That's why I'm so stumped, guys. I think other than Debbie Levitt gives her time for free to everybody, I would only do that if I were set for life financially, and let's just say I'm not. So, if I were set for life financially, I would teach and mentor people for free, absolutely unlimited, as long as my voice held out. But while that is not my current financial situation, I would have to say somebody's got to pay for something. Arun is here. Good to see you again. And let's see, let me copy your question so I can paste it into the YouTube description so we can tell people what you asked. And pasting. There we go. Arun says, do you have a recommendation on how to plan user research like a practitioner's book or course? I have some newcomers who are asking, but I learned everything on the job, so I'm drawing a blank. Yes, my current recommendation is Michelle Ronson's content at curiositytank.com. Check curiositytank.com for her courses and stuff. Maybe contact her and see what she might have that she can give to you, rent to you. I'm not too sure. But when it comes to user research, I've been recommending her website and content and courses as my current recommendation. So hopefully that helps. Hello, this is Office Hours Ask Me Anything. I'll be here another 15 minutes. Your screen is not playing tricks on you. I did put on makeup today. Yes, it's a little scary. No, I won't look like this tomorrow. We had to do pictures today. It was school picture day. A podcast asked me for a very specific picture. I had to be standing at an angle with my arms folded in front of my green screen, and so I had to dress up for that. I do not see Sophie here, but I want to tell Sophie I'm thinking of her because I'm wearing my Agile India shirt, and that's where I met Sophie. So I don't know if she's here or not, but I am thinking of her today. Any other thoughts or questions, guys? This is Office Hours Ask Me Anything, and I am still here. And I am not asleep yet, and I am ready to take additional questions that you guys might have about anything. All questions are welcome. No questions are off topic. I welcome all of them. Let's refresh LinkedIn just to see if I missed anything. But LinkedIn is really funky, so I remind people, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. It is much more reliable than the LinkedIn stream. It's also got less delay, so this feels a little bit more like a conversation when you're dealing with me on the YouTube. I think YouTube has about a 20-second delay, and I think LinkedIn has 2 minutes. So somebody says, I'm new here. Anything? Well, sure. I mean, typically I'm answering questions about CX and UX, but let's see what your question is, and hopefully it's appropriate. If fridge is short for refrigerator, where does the D in fridge come from? I could Google that. As they say, let me Google that for you. I don't know. I would imagine it was a standardization of pronunciation since we have edge with a letter D before the G. Ledge. What other words have a D before the G? I would imagine it came from the standardization of pronunciation, because if you see Frige, you might say frag. Just because of look, English has very few standards of pronunciation. You can't look at a word and know how it's pronounced because it came from Latin, Old Norse, not Greek, German, Dutch. What else did English come from? Latin, Norse, German, Old Dutch. There's one more I'm missing. French. That's where we get all those shun words. And corsage. So you can't look at a word and know how it's pronounced, but because we have a long I, normally when there's a consonant and then an E on the end, I would imagine the D was added for that reason. Thank you for asking, Captain. Let's see. Arun says, thank you. This is what Debbie recommended. Pasting it here for the record. CuriosityTank.com. CuriosityTank.com, I recommend. Captain likes my answer for how did D end up in the word fridge. This should definitely prove that Office Hours Ask Me Anything, you can ask me anything. And you might learn that I have some strange interests like word pronunciation and etymology. So back to you in the studio. Sorry, my backlight is being very glary today. I'll have to play with that later. Or make my hair bigger so you don't see it. Could my hair be bigger, everybody? I don't know. Office Hours, ask me anything. I'm here about another 15 more minutes. Anybody have any other questions that I can field for you? Other than that, let's take a look at my to-do list and cross some things off. I took a picture of myself today. I took a shot with my arms folded. And I checked the guy's website to make sure he would like the angle I was standing. Done. I think that's going to be June 4th, that podcast. Sarah is back. Sarah, I've been trying to figure out how to brand myself on my portfolio. My background's in web design and development, but UX is the goal. Any idea on how to merge my past and my goals? Okay, let's write that one down. We'll also write down Captain's question. If fridge is short for refrigerator, where does the D come from in fridge? Okay, we'll get that in there. And now we've got Sarah's question. So, Sarah, I say you don't have to overdo it on the whole branding because remember, if I'm coming to your site to look at your UX work, then I just want to see an organized website that's logical and makes sense to me. I don't want it to be cluttered. I've seen a couple of portfolio sites where people went too far with visual design, where there was back pattern backgrounds and stuff. Really, I think simplicity can be fine. You are not a famous brand, so you don't have to worry too much about the Sarah Price brand. Sarah says, sleeping on my hair wet makes it poof in the morning. No, I washed my hair this morning because I had to. My hair is just naturally poofy. Um, and this is with I left conditioner in it to make it less poofy. Go figure. Catch me on every other day. You ever notice how big my hair is on a normal day? Normal hair. So I would say don't worry too much about that. What is your brand? I think it's fine for you to just be Sarah Price and to say what you're saying to me. My background is web design and development, but I am transitioning into UX. If there's any particular aspect of UX that you prefer or specialize in, then say that. Some people say I'm a UX researcher, or I prefer to do interaction design and visual design. Just say what you want to do. And I've seen what 65 portfolios in the past few months. Many of those websites were very, very plain. Nobody spent time on design. They probably spent time on which font should I use and what color should my buttons be. And really, I think that's okay. And if you have a background in web design, then I'm especially going to expect your website to be really clean and uncluttered and usable and easy to read and easy to use. So I would say use your website to show me what you can do. Show me your UX side. Show me your website. Let's see, do we have any anonymous questions? No anonymous questions. Remember that you can ask questions anonymously here at this link. You can also ask them during the week, and I'll answer them in the next office hour, since we do this weekly every Tuesday at 6:15 p.m. Italy time, because that's where I am. We have another question from Captain. Does anybody know who Captain is? Captain says, any thoughts on COVID-19? I would say I actually answered that earlier in the stream. So I would say cycle back and you'll see that I had some comments earlier related to some of the struggles we have with people who don't take it seriously, and how it's hard to change their minds, and what unfortunate things may have to happen to those people to get them to take it seriously. So my main thought on COVID-19 is I take it extremely seriously. 100%. In fact, where I live, they've started relaxing the restrictions, and we haven't changed what we're doing. So we are still self-quarantined and mostly locked down. And the number one thing I can do is be safe, and that allows me to know that I didn't infect someone I care about. So that's me. We've still got another 8 minutes here in this week's Office Hours Ask Me Anything. Again, if you think of something during the week, feel free to ask it here at the anonymous link, deltacx.link AMA, and I always start each one with any questions I've gotten during the week so that we can make sure everybody gets their questions answered. If you miss an episode, they're all archived in our YouTube channel. Please subscribe. I got to point this way this time. At deltacx.tv, we'll redirect you to our YouTube channel, which is DeltaCX. It is not monetized, so if you see an ad, it would be for some other YouTube reason, because I do not have it set to monetized. I do not make any money from it. According to me, all of my content is free. If YouTube puts ads on it, that's something else. Just check the playlists for the podcasts and also check the playlists for office hours, and you'll always see everything archived pretty much immediately. Let's see. Any other thoughts or questions? How's everybody doing? Captain, who are you? Do I know you? Did you just drop by? Also, LinkedIners, are you still here? LinkedIn says nobody watching. That can't be true. Sarah's with us. LinkedIn, you're so messed up. Go home. You're drunk. Oh, who is this smiley person who gave me thumbs up? Mira. Thank you, Mira. Sarah says, I don't have Dribble. I have an old Behance. Yikes. I don't regularly share faux design ideas. Do you think employers like to see those or just for fun? Okay, so I'm not into Dribble and I'm not into Behance. I think I mean, as a web designer, you probably know these are substandard platforms. Whenever I look at a portfolio from those platforms, I just feel like I can't click to enlarge. Like, there's so many things that go wrong when I try to look at Dribble and Behance. They're really just not. They're made for a graphic designer to put up a picture and say, what do you think of this? But they're not really meant for UX portfolios, which are more about storytelling. Do I think employers like to see faux design ideas and daily challenges? I don't. I can't speak for anybody else, but I would say I don't because they're not a UX process. Basically, it's just you saying, hey, I think I can make Spotify look better. Look, I redesigned it. And I would go, great, based on what? What's your research? What's your process? How did you validate that the things you thought were problems are problems? Otherwise, they're just your ideas. And so, hackathons, challenges, some of the short faux projects, I'm not into because they don't show a UX process. A graphic designer or visual designer could say, hey, here's how I cleaned something up, and here's how I made this more accessible. All right, that might work for them. But for UX, we want to show that we're doing things based on knowledge and research. And if you don't do that, like we do at hackathons, then you're just guessing. And I get to see how good a guesser you are, but that only goes so far. Somebody sent a question. I wonder if it's Captain. And let's take a look at what it says. Hi, Debbie. Good to see you again. No, then it's not Captain. My question is how to find the right target audience for user research. Whoa, whoa, it's like Sarah's here again, but it's not Sarah. And what types of questions should be asked, like opened or close-ended? Okay, so it's half of Sarah. So to person who asked that, great question. I would also say flip back to the beginning of this because we talked when Sarah had a question about user research and finding those audiences. Now, there's a few ways that you can find audiences. Anna P says, gotta run. Thanks, Debbie. Thanks, Sarah. Yep, good to see you, Anna P. See you next time. So UX research, how to find the right target audience for research. Well, first of all, you've got to have some idea as to who that audience might be. So again, it doesn't have to be super specific, but it could be, I need to talk to luxury car buyers. I need to talk to new moms. I need to talk to writers. So you have to have some idea who it is, even if you don't have personas yet. Now you've got to find those people. Now, there are professional companies who will do recruiting and will find them for you, or you can try to find them yourself through your own network. So what people sometimes do is they create a little survey, which is a screener, so Google UX Research Screener. And we can then do a little survey and ask questions. I talked about this at the beginning of the podcast, so and you could ask, some questions in a survey and then weed out who sounds like they fit your target audience. Don't worry too much about demographics. It's not so much that you're looking for 25-year-old women. You're looking for people with probably certain habits or certain hobbies or certain work or certain routines or certain needs. So think about that when you're going fishing for participants. It's not just, oh, I want 25-year-old men. You think you want that, but make sure you're looking more broadly. Get your screener survey out there. You can try through social media. You can always hire those pros, but that would be one way to try to get your participants. Now, that survey itself is not really your user research or your UX research. That's really the path you're taking to find the people that you'll then interview or observe or other type of UX research. So remember that the survey is not the research. It's not send out a survey and you're done. Do we want to ask them multiple choice questions or open questions? You can ask some questions in the survey, but remember, ultimately, the survey should really just be something to lead you to greater qualitative research. So usually in a survey, I'll ask a combination of multiple choice questions, especially if I'm trying to weed certain types of people out. Are you a writer? Are you something else? And I might ask some open questions if I'm looking for more qualitative stuff. But again, that's based on what people feel like saying, whether or not they're telling the truth, could type into their computer or their phone. Not everybody gives you all the information you'd like to know. So again, the survey only gives you so much. So you can't just rely on it. And then obviously, if you're doing interviews or observational studies, certainly with interviews, these are all open questions. So very rarely do I give people a multiple choice question in an interview. I've done it a couple of times, but not for a client, for my own fun. So when I did my research a few months ago on people unhappy with boot camps, I did ask them some strongly agree to strongly disagree questions. But then, of course, since I'm talking to them, I can get more color and more insight and more qualitative information. So I hope that helps with that question, how to find the right target audience. If you have no idea who the target audience is, we would have to take a look at this project and see who we think it's for and about, and try to figure out what people we need to talk to learn more. Oh, excuse me. I am so sleepy. This is normally when I wind this down. I would love to get feedback from you guys as to whether or not this is a good time to do this, or if there's other times that could be better for you. Sorry, chloroseptic's been my friend this allergy season. Ooh. So thanks. Thanks for joining, everybody. This was another great lively session. I notice sometimes the sessions don't get going until about 10 or so minutes in, so I'm wondering if shifting this to start more at the half hour would make more sense. But you guys let me know. Send a message, write a comment, let me know if starting at, instead of 15 after the hour, 30 after the hour might be better, because I'm curious, because sometimes I get dead air until 10 or so minutes in, then everybody shows up with a lot of questions. Niku says, great time for me. Thank you, Niku. So thanks again to everybody. Have a great evening or day wherever you are. Please join us tomorrow for a live podcast with special guest Vicky Vo about new morphism and why it kind of stinks and why we don't want to do it. So see everybody then. Be well, sleep well, and catch you soon.
Thanks for watching. Delta CX is available for consulting and projects related to CX and UX strategy, leadership, training, problem finding, problem solving, and innovation. Learn more at deltacx.com.